Does the Kim Gardner name sound familiar to you at all?
No.
Do you remember a case of the McCloskeys who were standing outside with two guns and Black Lives Matter was like threatening to rip their gate down and shit? And then she ordered the crime lab to take the gun apart because the guns were not operable. They were used in a movie. So they had the firing pins removed. So the guns wouldn't even work that they were brandishing at the Black Lives Matter people. So they were just like trying to scare them away with these guns that did not work.
Okay.
Kim Gardner had them taken apart and then reassembled to work and then presented at trial. That's where her name, and then she used that case to run on her next election to become the number one dog. So the whole case was a fraud. It was an anti-Trump thing because they were pro-gun, pro-Trump people. And she tried to have them framed by fixing the gun. And she got reprimanded for using this case.
St. Louis prosecutor Kim Gardner wins primary after charging gun-toting couple. These weren't real guns.
they were real guns, but the firing pin was removed. So
none of this looks real. That's hilarious. The prosecutor who charged now infamous St. Louis couple for pointing guns at Black Lives Matter protesters outside their mansion last month has won her primary election for a second term. So she won in 2020 for a second term. Okay. Despite the negative publicity, the first-term prosecutor easily dispatched with her primary opponent and is expected to win November's general, given St. Louis's mostly Democratic voting bloc. And she did win, we know by now.
Yes. But that was her first
claim to fame.
That was when she first hit the radar. So here's your crime statistics for her district. And if you look, where is it at? Total crime index. It ranks it the worst city for crime. 1 out of 100. 100 being good.
100 is the safest. So she is the lead prosecutor in St. Louis, which is
she's in control of the whole office. She's the manager of the entire team.
That's the rest of their state. This is where she's at.
That's her place.
Wow. Violent crime, not just like crime, but the violent type. Let's watch this.
Gardner faces a criminal contempt hearing, a separate push for removal from office, and now a growing field of Democrats lining up to challenge her.
Brent, despite all her troubles, Kim Gardner still does have some support. How much? Not quite clear, but not enough to keep other Democrats from lining up to run against her.
Kim Gardner's supporters awarded her with this t-shirt, a new nickname.
Here's your reward for making us the most unsafe population in the U.S.
What you're seeing is a witch hunt.
She hammered Republican Attorney General Andrew Bailey's legal push to expel her from office.
I'm not leaving. I'm not resigning. I'm not doing nothing. You're going to have to remove me.
That's the problem. She's not doing nothing. That's why she's in court right now for not doing her job.
When you're talking about a rudderless ship, what are you talking about? The criminal justice system is doing what it's always designed to do. And we're trying to change the Titanic of a ship.
Well, it's going down. I agree. You know, she's definitely hit the iceberg of her own self-imposed problems. The self-imposed problems of driving people away from her office.
Mueller filed papers to challenge Gardner in next year's primary. Former Alderman Mike Gross says he'll file his papers to enter the contest this week.
It's extremely problematic that our circuit attorney's office is so antagonistic to the judges.
Gross and Mueller both argue Gardner is standing in the way of a more just criminal justice system.
If there is systemic racism in the court system, Kim Gardner is the absolute worst person to address it. She hasn't been able to address it yet. They're getting worse under her.
Gardner and her supporters do acknowledge things aren't exactly running smoothly.
Ride with it till the wheels fall off.
And she says she's ready to go down with the ship.
I don't care if I have nobody in my office, because it's about doing.
Well, there's only one left now.
No one left to lead.
It's about doing the right thing. Hold on. Are we bingoing this? Because this bitch about to say, eventually she's gonna get to the I'm done. She's gonna sell her office to somebody. Oh no.
Well, they're all quitting. Click the next link. She had, I think, 6 or 8 attorneys, and now there's only one left.
This one was 2 weeks ago, so this is before most 4 hours.
No, just watch the first little bit.
The hell's the news doing here?
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Barczewski. In just a few minutes, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey and St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner will meet in front of a judge to discuss the so-called Quo Warranto lawsuit. Bailey filed in February seeking to remove Gardner from office. Bailey filed the suit days after a 17-year-old Tennessee girl was severely
She has a job and Farron doesn't.
Crash.
That's true. That's actually really sad because seems like a YouTube production, and it's Channel 5
yeah,
news.
It's real news, and it's and they'd rather have her than Farron.
Yeah, yikes.
Involving Daniel Riley. Riley violated his GPS monitoring conditions dozens of times since he was charged in September of 2020
Look how fat that
with
bailiff
armed
is.
criminal action and robbery.
All right, we gotta pause this little Gardner thing. Look how fat that female bailiff is.
Dozens of times.
So this dude killed an 11-year-old.
Judge denied her office's request to keep Riley.
And Gardner doesn't want him to go to jail.
That's in contrast to a circuit court spokesman who said Gardner's office didn't file motions to revoke Riley's bond. In Bailey's lawsuit against Gardner, he makes 3 claims. He says she has failed to prosecute cases that are pending in her jurisdiction, failed to confer and inform victims of the procedural posture and ultimate disposition in criminal cases, and neglected her duties by failing to charge new cases referred to her by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Right now, the Circuit Attorney's Office, 3 prosecutors are responsible for nearly 500 felony cases. On Monday, 5 on Your Side sat in 3 murder trials that were scheduled to begin this week. The prosecutors who were assigned to them either resigned or have taken a leave of absence.
We have a constitutionally guaranteed right to a speedy trial.
Speedy trial. That's exactly right.
Are these murderers going to walk?
All of them.
What?
Every felony, every assault, every rape, every sexual assault, they're all going to walk.
Whoa. What did you just send me?
The safety of the community requires that this circuit and this office be led with integrity, and that the attorneys can be effective in their environment.
This is the Attorney General?
Yes. So that girl that just talked, she was her #1 felony lawyer. Just quit right there. That's why she was kind of crying.
Yeah, she was sad.
But she's also a cunt too, because do you know what she did to get out? Because Kim's telling her not to show up to these trials. And they're all trying to do this, like try not to show up to the trials so everyone gets let go. So they were coming up with excuses like, oh, I had to get medical attention for my knee. Oh, I got sexually assaulted by 2 men who pulled me out of a car and then pushed me up against the wall and grabbed me and groped me and then ran away. And then when the
That's
cops
kind of
showed
shit
up,
she was saying?
that's what she said. And then when the cops showed up and got all the surveillance cameras, she's like, well, you know, people forget where they were exactly and think details are hazy, but you know.
What?
Yeah, so she's, oh yeah.
This bitch. So in their office, they really wanted to just let these people get away with their crimes?
Everyone.
Why?
You tell me, how does a prosecutor handle 100 cases of violent felonies?
I have no idea. I don't know what their caseload would look like. You would think that
100 cases of anything to deal with. Just imagine dealing with 100 children's fucking lunch order.
Yeah. And does that mean those are active cases?
Active right now on her.
Oh.
Yeah. So she quit. So then all her cases go to somebody else. So with all the rats jumping ship, now you have one of them just got Clintoned last night.
Last night?
Last night. But this is suspect as fuck too.
A deadly crash on Interstate 270 in South County is hitting close to home for the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office. The Missouri Highway Patrol confirmed that the person killed in the crash is 32-year-old James Heitman. It's understood that Heitman was one of the remaining prosecutors in Kim Gardner's office. He's one of the only ones left.
Things that make you go,
What the fuck?
All right, thanks, Amelia. This fiery crash yesterday killed 1 person. It closed a stretch of I-270 for hours. And this morning, we're learning that the person killed worked for Kim Gardner in the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office.
Yeah, so what set it off was the 11-year-old girl that was murdered in a drive-by or whatever it was, that they didn't tell the victims' families that they weren't showing up and letting this murderer go. So it was the victims' families that actually...
Is that this
guy? Hang on.
Is that the...
He's the murderer. Yeah, he's the murderer that shot the 11-year-old.
Okay. So
Gretchen
he kills an
wants to
11.
let go.
Okay.
He's gonna get released because he's not going to get a speedy trial because Kim Gardner was too busy doing her nursing, and the other lawyers were too busy making false rape allegations, and the other lawyer was too busy getting medical treatment on his knee.
And the one who was not too busy doing shit just got dead.
Yeah, someone just got dead. James, I think was his name.
Are we going to see that one lady with the fake rape allegation? Or I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, she does a whole press conference and everything about it. And now she's talking about how Kim Gardner's trying to come after her and reporting that she never got arrested for her fake rape allegations.
Chris?
Mike, during arguments about what records the St. Louis Circuit Attorney should have to turn over, one of her former prosecutors spoke out in court, essentially saying, I've got stuff to turn over. She immediately felt the heat.
This is an incredibly uncomfortably exposed
Does she always sound like she's about to cry?
Yes.
I hate that.
position.
Oh,
for
yes,
me
I just
to be
found
in,
it. Perfect.
But somebody has to do it in order for all of you to have all of the information that I feel that you need.
Natalia Ogurkowicz spoke out after Tuesday's 4+ hour hearing.
That's the problem now with Kim Gardner. That's what I'm trying to do, and she's trying to stop me from doing it.
Moments earlier, in court, the Attorney General's office complained about being stonewalled.
We've been asking for documents since March 1. We don't have a single document, nor has one ever been offered.
They've just been asking to show which lawyers are assigned to which cases. That's it. That's all they've asked for.
His client could provide thousands of pages of documentation. The courtroom filled with outspoken Gardner supporters. A Gardner lawyer, Jonathan Sternberg.
The law of Missouri doesn't allow him to do what he's trying to do here and use this court to oust Ms. Gardner for stuff that he disagrees with.
Sternberg adding that if Gardner is ousted, she'll simply run again and win. Ogurkowicz, who resigned Friday, hoping her inside information and documentation will help inform citizens.
I am trying to make sure that the public understands the way that the office has been running in my 3-year tenure there. And
she's trying not to go to jail.
Like to know.
Yeah, the whole time. She's like, I mean, I benefited from it, but this seems like it's about to be a problem.
She dodged all these cases, knowing full well it was unethical for her to do, so it's going to cost her her law license, so she's turned rat. So the next video I posted on it is where Kim Gardner is like, hey, remember that felony I told you to fake and you didn't, and you reported it? That's a crime.
Let's see what we hear here.
New tonight, a lawyer who recently...
I mean, this lady looked corrupt as fuck.
She said that people pulled up in a car, grabbed her, pushed her against a wall, and fondled her, and then ran away. Because, you know, rapists
They
just
found her
fondling.
dick. They got to the balls, and they're like, ah.
Fuck, it could be. It does look a little mannish.
Kim Gardner's team
If it wasn't
says
crying
someone
all the
in
time.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office is trying to smear her name. She says they're going after her because she's cooperating in a case to remove Gardner from her position. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush, and Allred has the night off. 5 on your sides. Christine Byers is here with more on all
He
this.
looks really familiar for some reason. Oh, he looks like Al Gore.
He does, yes.
And she has an
Fuck, she's like, I'm in my jammies.
I was just both of us pink pajamas.
She looks really uncomfortable that she forgot to put the right pants on.
Farron just got into bed.
She's like, you swear you won't show my pants? And then as soon as action, she's like,
from the neck
she
up.
could see herself in the monitor. She's like, my fucking pajamas are on.
Exclusive interview. Christine.
Mike, Natalia Ogurkowicz recently resigned from Kim Gardner's staff. Now she wants to help the Missouri Attorney General oust Gardner from office. She believes Gardner's office will stop at nothing to keep her quiet.
Everyone in that office should lose their law license. Every single one, because they all participated in it. They all watched it happen. They didn't do anything until shit hit the fan. This is her trying to say that she didn't do a fake rape allegation and that it's just, you know, memories go bad sometimes, and you just need to know that victims have bad memories.
Natalia Ogurkowicz resigned from Kim Gardner's office April 14th. She accused Gardner of creating a toxic work environment and throwing employees under the bus. She now wants to turn over 3,000 documents to the Missouri Attorney General, who is trying to oust Gardner. A lawyer for the Circuit Attorney's Office is fighting her efforts.
I really think that the community should have access to the same kinds of information. And I just want to do my part in helping aid
I'm the good
democratic
girl.
process
Everybody
by
love
providing
me.
accessibility of information.
She told police she was, quote, blackout drunk when it happened.
And so what happened here truly was that this happened. I remembered it happened, but the night was starting to blend together. Where I was starting to blend together.
Police reviewed surveillance footage from the area and couldn't confirm the assault. Ogerkowitz told police the assault could have happened somewhere else.
Well, it happened.
Whoopsie.
I
It
don't think
happens.
it happened where I had thought it happened, but it's actually very well studied that people can be certain about things, but yet mistaken.
No,
She says
that's
she
part of her beauty
was never
standard.
disciplined by Gardner's
You don't know.
office, but claims this week the report suddenly resurfaced, and she believes someone in Kim Gardner's office is giving it to reporters.
This is coming out now, in my
Kim,
opinion,
maybe?
as number one, an attempt to try to scare me out of complying with the subpoena. Number two, to try to scare me from saying anything or providing information publicly. Number three, to shift the narrative, to make sure that this narrative is not on the elected official and the problems in that office, but instead about the attorneys.
5 on your side.
It's interesting that she said scare her, scare her, scare her. And then she
And
wakes
that-
up this morning, she's like, oh, by the way, Jim's dead. What happened? Oh, he got rear-ended. His car caught on fire.
Exactly.
He's dead. You're like, oh.
Meanwhile, we've asked for a response from Gardner's office and are still waiting to hear back.
Just hours ago, we learned about more departures from the office of St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. That means there's now just one prosecutor who's assigned to hundreds of violent felony cases.
Wait a minute. Is that the guy that died?
Someone died yesterday.
Oh, no.
The most recent prosecutor to resign is at the center of a contempt case that could result in jail time, a fine, or both for him and Gardner.
Like I said, I don't care if I have nobody in my office. Because it's
But
me
that's your
doing the
job.
right things. And if you stand in silence and you
No,
sit
your
there
job
and
is to
watch
have
the
people
show
in the office
and
working.
okay, it's me here now today. It's gonna be you next and your family next.
Other than legal filings, you rarely ever
Oh,
hear
and
from
she
a
can
sitting
walk.
judge, let alone
Yeah, I like
all of them
this.
collectively from a single circuit. Today, they issued a statement expressing their concerns given all of the resignations. Assistant Circuit Attorney Chris Desolitz confirmed to me this morning that he is
quit?
stepping down. He was just in court last week to explain why he missed a trial and a subsequent hearing on the same case. Also today, we obtained an email from Gardner, and she wrote confirming Alex Polta left her office last week. He also missed a recent murder trial. Both Desolitz and Polta blamed their absences on medical issues.
Right.
Quote, more recent
excuse.
departures from the circuit attorney's office, leaving fewer attorneys to prosecute hundreds of serious cases on the trial docket, are deeply concerning to the judges of the 22nd Judicial Circuit. At a rally over the weekend, Gardner addressed the staffing issue in her office.
So yesterday, a judge rules that the case against Kim Gardner can go to trial. We can't see the thumbs down.
In the Attorney
Listen.
General's fight to oust St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner from office, the legal battle will move forward.
But today, the judge set 3 counts that involve Gardner's attempts to void subpoenas of current and former employees.
See, look
That's
how
not
ghetto she
relevant to
is,
this
swinging her
case.
shoulders and her neck
As the
like
September
that.
trial inches closer, Bailey says Gardner is not turning over necessary documents. A slew law expert
Documents.
believes Gardner knows what she's doing.
Gardner might want this to happen. She
Uh,
might be calling the Attorney General's bluff. Will the Supreme Court of Missouri really order the first black elected prosecutor of St. Louis removed? Probably not. And if they do, that is going to be national news when the governor orders the state troopers down to escort her out of the building. This is about whether a Attorney General can remove an elected circuit attorney. Full stop.
You ready? All right.
You ready? Let's do it.
The Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner was served with a notice and order to show cause directing her or a designated Assistant Circuit Attorney to appear before this court on April 27, 2023 to show cause why she should not be held in contempt based on an alleged willful failure to appear in Division 22.
And she didn't appear to that.
And April 24th. Ms. Gardner did not appear. Assistant Circuit Attorney Mr. Huck appeared on her behalf, and Assistant Attorney Mr. Chris Desolitz appeared. The question before the court is whether Ms. Gardner and Ms. Desolitz's failure to appear on April 10th and April 24th amount to disdain and disrespect for the court. The circuit attorney's office appears to be a rudderless ship of chaos. Ms. Gardner is the circuit attorney, and it is her duty to manage the caseload of each staff member for felony cases. Any prudent practitioner would expect such a caseload to create countless irreconcilable conflicts.
Right. It's common sense that that's not
she has
possible.
made any reasonable efforts to prevent the resulting chaos. It appears that Ms. Gardner has complete indifference and a conscious disregard for the judicial process. There is sufficient evidence of disdain and disrespect for the judicial process to determine that both Ms. Gardner and Mr. Desolete's conduct support a finding of indirect criminal contempt.
Whoa.
Furthermore,
That's why he resigned yesterday, because he's included now, so he quit.
Constitutes an intentional disobedience and shows a clear intent to disregard the power and authority of the judicial system process. If a court allows such disobedience to continue, then its orders will become ineffective, thereby undermining the judicial system.
We set a precedent if we don't nail this bitch to the cross.
There is the requisite conduct and intent which could support a finding of intentional disregard for the judicial process. Ms. Gardner has counsel. Mr. Desoletes has the right to retain counsel. Both will be afforded their due process rights to discovery and to prepare a defense. The procedure for indirect criminal contempt is governed by Rule 36.01B. Pursuant to that rule, this court will appoint a special prosecutor for this matter. The court will allow reasonable time for the preparation of defense. Accordingly, the court sets the matter for a hearing on Tuesday, May 30th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
All
This
right.
concludes the matter on the record.
Good evening. We're here to discuss recent
This is the guy that's
developments in the legal
audio's
proceeding
bad.
to remove the circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, in the city of St. Louis.
This guy's loud.
He's the attorney general. He's the one that's like, this bitch is fucking shit up. I'm getting her
Court has
out.
issued several orders.
He's the one that caught her going to school to be a nurse instead of doing her court cases.
Additionally, we've uncovered new pieces of evidence indicating that the circuit attorney is taking nursing classes instead of fulfilling her additional duties. I'm going to give an overview of the case. In February, after calling on the circuit attorney to
She's
resign,
literally only collecting a paycheck from the government.
we initiated the legal proceeding to remove her from office.
In February.
It was necessary to do so to protect the public, to restore the rule of law, and to find justice for victims. After several weeks, numerous additional witnesses had contacted my office.
Oh, the audio is horrible.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
To do her job. My office filed a 121-page amended petition, and the circuit attorney asked the court to dismiss the case. After 60 days, 5 pleadings, 4 meetings with her attorneys, and a hearing on the
Just
matter,
been dragging it
the
out and
circuit
out
attorney
and
decided
out.
she wanted a different judge to preside.
Oh, that's
This tactic was an unnecessary delay.
too
I'd like to
late.
turn the microphone over to Judge Bill Corrigan, Deputy Attorney General for the state of Missouri, who's leading the litigation effort in this matter to discuss these orders.
okay.
It's an old white dude. They're going to call him racist.
Evening.
As you all know,
Well, no, because he's clearly trans man.
Got the shoulders of it. Ricada shoulders.
yesterday, Judge John Trubisky issued an order very favorable to our case. Judge Trubisky denied the motion to dismiss filed by the circuit attorney and allowed
Get it out, bud.
all of our primary claims to proceed. We, in the state of Missouri, provide numerous instances in which the circuit attorney has failed to meet a duty, and that we, the state of Missouri, assert that these examples demonstrate a pattern and practice of her willful failure to act contrary to a known duty, or her duty to prosecute cases, make charging decisions, keep victims informed, and ensure defendants and victims receive a speedy trial. Now that we are armed with Judge Trubisky's decision, we look forward to prosecuting our case. In addition to the
Right,
order
yeah.
denying the circuit attorney's motion to dismiss, As many of you also know, Judge Trubisky issued a very favorable order with respect to our subpoena.
He said, "This bitch can't drive a boat."
Circuit Attorney's Office. And in that subpoena, we asked for 59 categories of documents. Judge Trubisky denied their motion to quash our ability to get those documents.
They did everything possible.
Found
Appeal,
that we are entitled
just
to obtain
postpone.
90% of what we've asked for. And what we've asked for includes all communications to and from victims in the cases we've alleged in our amended petition.
That should be easy to give, right? I emailed the victim that we were going to meet at the courthouse for this, or I interviewed.
Shortages.
You can't even provide that shit. You're covering something up.
Other categories of information. We look forward
I bet
to
it comes out that she just didn't do anything. She just had the paycheck and was vacationing.
And the judge ordered them to produce those documents within the next 30 days. Finally, the first deposition will take place tomorrow. We're scheduled to take the deposition of the city budget director tomorrow at 10 a.m. We look forward to prosecuting our case.
A new judge either has been or will be assigned shortly, and we will continue to move towards the September 25th trial date to remove the circuit attorney.
Yeah.
Discovery as to her files will be turned over within the next 30 days pursuant to the court.
Discovery of her files by May 30th.
Yes.
That's what they were asking for. Okay.
And we'll begin deposing the witnesses we've asked for. Over the past several weeks, my office has also received information indicating that the circuit attorney was participating in nursing classes at St. Louis University.
I'm allowed to have hobbies?
Is not one of her official duties. Prosecuting criminals is.
Yeah.
Yet she has consistently failed to charge new cases, inform and confer with victims, and move the cases she does charge to disposition. Most recently, she has failed to appear for a murder trial and an assault trial, resulting in two different judges issuing show cause orders requiring her to explain why those judges should not hold her in contempt of court for failing to show up for scheduled trials.
He's trying to have her pulled out of office by having the cops take her out for a crime, because they can't vote. She's been voted in, right? The only way to get her is to vote her out, or she commits a crime and gets arrested and put in jail.
How do they prevent her from getting voted in again?
They can't. If they pull her out, she gets arrested. She can run next year and go right back into the same place.
If the crime is so high in Missouri, why don't the people care?
Because they watch the TV.
A shocking resignation. This morning, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner has less than 1 month to leave her office. Yesterday, she announced her resignation after a lengthy lawsuit with Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Gardner will leave office on June the 1st.
Now this morning we're learning part of the reason that Gardner is stepping down is to prevent the state legislature from passing a bill that would strip the office of its power. In a letter to the people of St. Louis, Gardner said, "The most powerful weapon I have to fight back against these outsiders stealing your voices and your rights is to step back." There is absolutely no reason for the circuit attorney to remain in office until June 1st. We remain undeterred with our legal quest to forcibly remove her from office. Every day, she remains puts the city of St. Louis in more danger. A new judge has been appointed in that case, so it remains to be seen whether any rulings will be issued.
This is a good one to close out. What do you guys think about the Kim Gardner situation? Somebody fill me in. Steve, Southern Law.
I'm so glad she's gone.
Southern
What an
Law.
idiot woman she is.
Yeah, she resigned.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's so wrong how they basically were harassing a black woman. It was terribly, terribly wrong that she was the head district attorney in St. Louis, and her staff was leaving in droves, like literally fleeing the district attorney's office because of how terrible the work conditions
Usually
were.
before hearings.
Well,
dropping
in
tens
LA,
of thousands of cases, failing to show up for trial. Like failing literally to show up for trial.
It was a murder trial, correct, John?
Yeah, not a murder. I believe it was a
No, it was
firing
a murder
gun.
trial with a 9-year-old. No, he lived. He lived.
Yeah, he lived.
It was a shooting of a 9-year-old boy.
It was a shooting through a window
Well,
of an 11-year-old boy.
Didn't die, so it doesn't count.
But this coming back to Kim Gardner, I mean, so then you had Judge Noble, who, just for the record, those people who believe anything she says about being attacked because she's a black woman, he happens to be a black judge.
Hold on. Nobody seriously suggested she was being attacked for being a black woman.
She did. She claims that.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's facing a contempt hearing for such wanton neglect of prosecution and failure to show up for trial. And then the day before she resigned, they found out she's been moonlighting as a nursing student. This is the head attorney for that she's been moonlighting as a nursing student. Like, what the heck is going through your brain that you signed up to nursing school when you are the head district attorney for the city of St. Louis?
She knew how it was going to go. Is that why she missed the trial? I mean, if that's why she missed the trial, Joe, it's a decent excuse.
She needed a backup job because she knew where it was going.
It's just astonishing. And then she has the audacity that this is an attack on freedom and democracy, and this is an attack on our United States, and stand strong. I mean, everyone knew she was Soros-funded DA, and she got her job by campaigning that she's going to put away the McCloskeys while letting basically violent felons roam the streets of St. Louis. And in case you think that's not a serious thing as far as allowing dangerous felons to roam the streets of specifically St. Louis, it happens on a per capita basis to be the murder capital of the country.
That's because of Republican gun laws, Joe. I heard what Gavin Newsom said. Okay? He never lies.